Let's talk about the Sunday matchups. Yes, yes, yes. And the first matchup on Sunday is going to be the Bengals versus the Colts. Now, this will be played in Indianapolis. They won the AFC South, so they are hosting this game. Now, since he has not won a playoff game since 1990, they are actually 0-6 in the playoffs since then. Now, they have made it a bunch of times with Andy Dalton and A.J. Green and those guys there. They just can't seem to get over the hump. So it's going to be interesting because also earlier this year, the Colts won 27-0. Yeah, let that sink in. 27-0. It's very rare to see a shutout in the NFL. Very rare. I think there was like 4 happen this year. That was one of them. So we're going to see what happens now. The game earlier this season, A.J. Green was out. Jeremy Hill had not quite gotten his mojo yet. He hadn't been rumbling over all defenses like he did the second half of the season. So there's a couple things there. Andrew Luck, he had a way better beginning of the year than he did end of the year. Defenses seem to figure him out a little bit. But that's not saying that he's not a great quarterback because he did have an amazing year this year. So we'll see what happens there. Now, Green is questionable for this week's game, so if he's out, it's going to be hard because Mohamed Sanu is a very good wide receiver, but he's not an A.J. Green. And Jeremy Hill is not going to be as effective if you don't have as much of a threat in the passing game. So it's going to be kind of a give and take. Now, I don't really see this really affecting it either way because the Colts being at home and the Bengals kind of being cursed at not being able to win playoff games. I mean, again, Andy Dalton, I think he's 0-3 in playoffs. Yeah, they just haven't been able to win. So, prediction, Colts are going to win 27-20. Yeah, it was a hard prediction to make, but I made it anyway. But let me know what's your prediction, Colts versus Bengals. Hit me up, comments down below, of course, at What's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, and Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. And then we move on to the final game of the wild card weekend, and that is the Cowboys versus the Lions. Now, this game will be played in Dallas. Dallas winning the NFC East. Boo. Yeah, boo. But they won, and they played well. I mean, they played awesome behind DeMarco Murray. That guy is amazing. He broke their record for single-season rushing, and that's saying something because they only have, the NFL's leading rusher all time in their franchise for like 16 years. And that was Emmitt Smith. So if you can break one of his records, you're doing something right. That's for sure. Something right. And now this is really probably the most staunch matchup of offense versus defense. Cowboys had an awesome offense, especially, like I said, behind DeMarco Murray, but that made Tony Romo, it rejuvenated him. It showed him the fountain of youth because he no longer had to sit there and be like, okay, pass 40 times a game, 50 times a game. No, he was handing the ball off 20, 30, maybe even 40 times a game. I doubt that happened, but a lot, and so defenses played up in the box. He was able to get down to the field to his weapons, and he just has a weapon like Des Bryant, one of the best deep ball threats. He's just a man-child. I mean, behind Calvin Johnson, I'd say he's the second best wide receiver in the league. Yep, that's what I'm going with. So, and so that was really good. And plus their O-line, I mean, I hate to say it, but Jerry Jones, something finally snapped in his head. He's like, wait, I shouldn't just go out and get all these big name guys. Maybe I should build. And maybe I should build it from a foundation up instead of making all the top ones so great. Let's build it from the bottom. And he went out and used a lot of picks on his. I want to say he's got 3 Pro Bowlers from the offensive line there. Best offensive line in football. And what's that going to do for you? That's going to give Tony Romo a lot more time to pass the ball. That's going to make the running attack a lot more potent because even when DeMarco Murray was out or hobbled because he did break his hand, the other running backs, Joseph Randall, when he wasn't stealing underwear, he was playing pretty well. So, these guys, it's a solid structure that they got. Now their defense, a little more suspect. So that's the one thing. And I thought they were going to be recordly bad this year. Offense helped cover that up. When you're controlling the ball for 2/3 of the opponent's offense doesn't have as much time to score. So that's something to be said. But the Lions, where it's usually their liability is their defense, they did almost the opposite of what the Cowboys have done with their offensive line, and they built an amazing defensive line. And this is going to help that. And then Ndamukong Suh, he was going to be suspended this week for stepping on Aaron Rodgers' ankle, which I do believe he did on purpose. But he said his feet were numb in the cold, and he couldn't tell that he was stepping on Aaron Rodgers. Well, you just stepped on it twice, but okay, fine. NFL bought it. Who am I to judge? We'll go with it. He's going to be in there. And so instead of getting suspended for the first playoff game, he's just going to get a $70,000 fine. So he's going to be in there, and that's going to be big because him, Nick Farley, they have two pretty good defensive ends. Those guys are the motor for that defense. They get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They stop the run. And if they're doing that, it's going to make it hard for Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray all day. So, like I said, this is going to be the most staunch matchup of offense versus defense. Now, I do got to say that I think the Lions' offense is better than the Cowboys' defense. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. With Joyke Bell running the ball straight ahead, Reggie Bush, nice screen game, and Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate playing out of his mind this year. It was kind of surprising to not see them have that offense that they've had. Put up a ton of points, but they give up more points than they put up. So what can you do? Now they're giving up no points, but they're not putting up as many points. So it's kind of a little bit of that trade-off. So this game, yeah, I'm sorry, Tony Romo. I think you're going to blow it. I'm calling this a 20-14 game for the Lions winning, and it's going to be close. It's going to be a great matchup. It might the Ravens Steelers will be the best matchup of the weekend, but this will be a close second. So check it out. But let me know what you think. Who's going to win this game? Give me a score down below. Of course, at What's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, and Facebook. Always good ways getting a hold of us.